Hey everybody, welcome back to the Junkyard Dog Report. Got some great news here. We sweep the Lakers. I got a nice broom here. Do a little. Uh, Great game last night, and definitely great to sweep LeBron for the first time. That's very cool. It was a great game for us, so let's just get right into it, right? We started off the game great. We started the game on a 10-3 run. We started with Jared Allen on LeBron and Evan Mobley on AD. Something I definitely liked. I liked the way Ev was playing AD for the 8 minutes that he played. He only scored 1 point, and he was experiencing flu-like symptoms, so he had to exit the game. So let's just hope he doesn't have COVID and he didn't just get our entire team sick or something like that. Let's hope he's all good and we're all good, and this is a non-issue for him and for us. But moving on, definitely a tough assignment for Jared Allen covering LeBron, especially because LeBron is not like Giannis in the fact that he's much faster and much more agile than him. But, Jared Allen did his best. And as I said, we started the game on a 10-3 run, but something that kept happening in this game was a game of runs. It was like one time we go on a run, they go on a run. We go on a run, they go on a run. So you're going to hear me talking about a lot of runs. The Lakers responded with a 6-2 run of their own after our 10-3 run to start the game. And then we responded with a 7-0 run. And then the Lakers hit us with a 15-2 run to end the quarter. And like I just said, this game was a game of runs. We definitely found a way to grit it out. We definitely played great team basketball. We were passing the ball well all night, definitely gritting it out inside. Jared Allen was huge early because anytime Don or DG went into the paint, the Lakers were trying to double team, take them out of the game, take away their driving abilities. And so they just did the smart thing, kick to Jared Allen, bam, throw it down, big man. So he was dominant in that first quarter. He had 14 points. Pretty sure he was 7 for 7. He started the game 9 for 9. We won the first quarter 27-26. So, that was good. Moving on, the second quarter, it was definitely back and forth to start, a little tit for tat, a little bit of a toss up to start the quarter, but then bam, we went on, or no, not we, the Lakers, sorry. The Lakers went on an 11-3 run. Something I was wondering at this point with Anthony Davis out of the game is why Jared Allen was still on LeBron. And it made me think about a few years ago when we still had Tristan Thompson, how JB was using him to cover not only Giannis, but LeBron as well when we played the Lakers. So I think that's what JB was trying to do. Now, do I get it? Not really, considering Evan Mobley is our best perimeter defender, in my opinion, along with how great of a paint defender he is. It just made more sense, in my opinion, to have Ev on him, especially with Anthony Davis out of the game. But I'm not the coach of the Cavs. That's up to JB. He's going to do what he does. So the second half of the second quarter, Donovan Mitchell just completely took over. I think he scored 12 of his 14 first half points in that second quarter. Not 12, that's an over-exaggeration. Probably 9. But Donovan Mitchell was absolutely started to take over from that point of the game on, and he kept getting better and better as the game progressed, which was great to see. You love to see Spider Don and his sticky hands grabbing steals, getting buckets. Moving on, we held the Lakers to like 4 points for a 5+ minute stretch. We went on a 15-4 run to end the quarter, and 11 of that was from Donovan Mitchell, so I guess I was wrong about the 9 and the 12. But definitely a great first half for us. We handled the emotions of the night well, and I know it's been a few years since LeBron left, but the emotions that come when he comes to town. You're talking about the kid from Akron, the savior, the promise keeper. All those things factor in. The king. All those things factor in, and it's tough for a young team. So definitely great to see how we played in that first half. We won the second quarter 30-23, so that was definitely great to see. Something I was wondering when the third quarter started is also something I was wondering during the second quarter, why Jared Allen was still on LeBron. Jared Allen, in my opinion, he's a better perimeter defender than Tristan Thompson. I'm just trying to compare this to the comparison of what JB was doing 2 years ago that I made earlier. Jared Allen is definitely, in my opinion, a better perimeter defender than Tristan Thompson. But it's just like Tristan Thompson was more fluid with his movement, so he was better able to keep up with a guy like LeBron, especially considering that Tristan and LeBron went at it in practice every day for like 4 or 5 years. He definitely had more experience covering him. So I definitely think Evan Mobley should have been on him. I also would have loved to see Ev take more shots in this game, but it is what it is. We started off the third on a nice 11-2 run, but then the Lakers just took over this quarter. This was their quarter in a big way. They didn't beat us by much in the quarter, but after our 11-2 run, they went on a 13-2 run of their own, and we finished the quarter on a little 4-0 run. But they beat us in this quarter 34-28, and it definitely felt grim. I mean, we don't want to allow 34 points in any quarter, like no matter who we're playing, and especially with Anthony Davis out, who's been one of the best players in the league as of late. We definitely don't want to see that, and it felt like the Lakers were winning the ball in 50-50 situations. They were diving on the ball more than us. They were getting steals and stuff like that. All these things changed in the fourth. The fourth quarter, when the fourth quarter started, something that, kind of irked me a little bit is that the Lakers bench had 42 points and ours had 11. And something Chuck kept saying on TNT after the game and at halftime was, if we had a better bench, like, we can go do some damage not only in the playoffs but potentially go to the finals. And that's definitely something that bothers me, considering we don't get on live TV very often. So you definitely want to see all the guys contribute and all the guys step up so they can all get their love. I think we have a fantastic bench, honestly. I would love to see Karis LeVert step up and Isaac Okoro step up. But I think Kevin Love is going to be fine once that cap gets taken off his thumb. I think that Ricky Rubio is going to be huge for us when he comes back. But definitely a rough night for the bench. We went on a huge run to end this game. A huge run. We absolutely shut them down in the fourth quarter. Like, our defense was insane. We went on a 18-6 run at one point. Donovan Mitchell went on a 7-2 run of his own. Like, our defense was clamping down, and Spider Don, which, let me move out of the way because I did not check this before I started like a genius. But Spider Don over here was using them sticky fingers to grab steals all night. It was fantastic. Shooting them webs at the ball. Bam, bam, bam. Grabbing it. Going down court, running some fast breaks. And we destroyed this quarter. We won 31-19. A great night from the guys. My only problem overall was the third quarter, where things were a little lackluster, and the Lakers looked like they wanted it more than us in that third quarter, I'll be honest. But that and Evan Mobley only shot it 6 times, right? Like, I think we're really hurting his development in terms of that. Like, Jarrett shot it about 14 times. DG shot it about 18, 19 times. Donovan north of 20 times. Ev needs to get more touches, especially considering the way he started off that game with that jumper at the top of the key at the elbow, and he just swished it when LeBron was sitting back on him. Like, you got to get that man more touches, because if we develop him, specifically his offensive game, and he can take over on that side of the ball, we are so scary. Like, so scary. This was definitely a big 4 game. I'll get into the statistics of it later. Now we got to get into our quotes. So what JB had to say about that third quarter that I was so bothered about was, I think, in that third quarter, there were too many loose balls that we didn't win. And he's absolutely right. When it comes to scrapping, that's our team's identity. It's what we do best. We should have been winning more 50-50 balls. We should have been laying it all on the line for that. But, tough game, a lot of emotions, young team. They got it done. These quarters have been happening for us. Luckily, wasn't one of those quarters that broke us. So, moving on. On Jarrett being back, JB said he was phenomenal. And, how else can you describe a guy who started the game 9 for 9, finished with a double-double? Like, he was phenomenal in his first game back. Great to have him back. Moving on. JB was talking about the group. He said, we're hopeful at some point, like, the group gets together because the team does fit. And what he was saying here was, we've had like we haven't had the big four play together very much all season. Like Darius Garland got hurt in the first game of the season. DG comes back, we play like 2 games, and then Jared Allen's out. So definitely great to have the big four together. Hopefully I'm not jinxing anything here. We don't want any injuries. We don't want any injuries. We want to stay as healthy as possible, get this big four working together, so when it comes playoff time, we have the chemistry and everything is running smoothly and perfectly. We don't have any silly turnovers because people don't know where to be, and that definitely wasn't a problem last night. Moving on, what JB had to say about Jared Allen middies was, I mean, it's consistent, you know. I think he doesn't get a lot of them, which is good for us because teams don't scout it. And something I've been talking about is if Jared Allen can keep hitting that 15 to 17 foot midi, that we're going to be even better, right? Because teams will then have to guard that rather than sitting back in the paint and being like, Jared can't shoot, leave him there. So that's definitely good to hear from the coach that he's, JB, that he's consistent at shooting that midi. So when push comes to shove, hopefully teams don't figure this out, and by playoff time, Jared just pulls out the midi game, and he's just hitting them consistent, and then teams have to close down on him, which opens up space for other guys to succeed. Moving on to Jared's post game, they asked him about his 14-point first quarter, and what he had to say about that was, they felt like they had to help off to stop Donovan and DG, and it just left me wide open down there, and that is a perfect explanation. You also got to, he was talking about the first quarter, but I also got to credit Levert, who had some really nice feeds down low when he got double teamed. But DG and Don definitely did a great job of finding Jarrett early and often. And I mean, he responded. He took every touch and he really didn't miss, specifically in the first quarter. So moving on. What Jared had to say about Don's performance, especially considering the heightened emotions with LeBron in the building. He said he could be playing Bugs Bunny from the Toon Squad, since LeBron's playing tonight. He could be playing anybody. He's going to be locked in, ready to play his hardest, and he's not going to let the moment outshine him. And this is something that Donovan's proved in Utah, but it's great to see him doing it here with our team, the Cavs, because, I mean, once playoff time comes, we need that Donovan that Utah had. The one that was putting up 50 in that series against Jamal Murray and the Nuggets. The Donovan Mitchell who steps up to the stage when the stage rises. We need that guy to lead this team, specifically in scoring, once push comes to shove, comes playoff time. And speaking of Spider Don, the man, the myth, the legend himself, let's go to his press conference and see what he had to say. So Don talking about LeBron and playing against him, he said, it's crazy. I grew up watching him here. The elevation, it really hit for me, like a full circle moment, when I watched him get that standing ovation. And I mean, being a fan of the Cavs and a fan of LeBron myself, I could only imagine how that felt just sitting there and watching him get that ovation. I know it definitely sends, some shivers down your spine just sitting at home watching that ovation. That's definitely a guy we're grateful to for bringing us this 2016 championship right here. So that's definitely really cool for a guy who was drafted in 2017, by the way. So he was still a fan when we won that championship. So that's definitely crazy to even think about that happening because think about that as if it was you. Like, how would you feel sitting there watching LeBron get that standing O? That's awesome, honestly. Moving on, what Don had to say about Jared Allen was he's one of the elite shot blockers in the league. His finishing with either hand, be able to roll, able to set screens, able to understand the pick and roll game, understand where to be. He gives us so much versatility on that end. And Jarrett definitely stepped up big time last night. I mean, not only facing the challenge of arguably the best big man in the game in Anthony Davis last night, which unfortunately we didn't get to see that matchup play out for very long. It would have been very intriguing. But stepping up to that challenge and then also taking the challenge of covering LeBron James. Now, if he would, if we weren't the Cavs, we were some other team, I probably wouldn't emphasize that as much because it's not just that he's covering LeBron, right? It's not just that he's covering one of the best players to ever play the game. He's playing the guy who, when you say Cleveland Cavaliers, most people even now, their first thought is LeBron James. And when you say LeBron James, most people's first thought isn't Miami LeBron or Laker LeBron. Their first thought is Cleveland LeBron. So definitely huge for Jarrett to step up in that big moment. And getting into the stats, because this was definitely a Big Four game where they stepped up and they carried us, which is huge because that's what we're going to need from them come playoff time. So here are the splits. The Big Four had 95 points. The rest had 21. Obviously, 43 of those came from Donovan Mitchell, who was fantastic. He was an absolute flamethrower last night. Maybe I'll throw him up there. I have to find some space for myself here now. Let me move over a little bit. So the Big Four had 32 rebounds. The rest had 12. And something that was really cool was that Ev had 12 rebounds and Jarrett had 11. And it's not many times that we've seen with those two playing together that Ev out-rebounds Jarrett. So I definitely like how he was staying focused even though he wasn't getting the shot opportunities the other three were. The Big Four had 19 assists. The rest had 6. Definitely great to get back over 20 assists in a game compared to that game we had against the Knicks, which, we don't want to talk about. 11 of those 19 came from Darius Garland, and we need more of this from him, honestly. Like, we really do. And I'm going to take this down because it's kind of annoying me. We need more games where Darius Garland's going for 10 assists rather than going for 30 points. Because when you have a guy who can score like Donovan Mitchell, it's not all on DG's shoulders to do that. We need him orchestrating this offense. He needs to continue to be the facilitator rather than the scorer. And there are going to be moments where he has to score, and he'll be ready to step up to the plate for that. We know he has the ability. It's just he's more effective when he's the facilitator in this offense, in my opinion. Moving on. The Big Four had 9 steals. The rest had 2. 7 of those 9 steals came from Donovan Mitchell, who had 4, with those sticky, spidey fingers, and Jarrett Allen, who had 3 in his fantastic return. For the blocks, the Big Four had 2, and the rest had 1, and both Ev and J.A. had 1 block apiece, and Mamadi Diakite had 1 block in the 1 minute and 40 seconds that he played. So that was really cool. Moving on, turnovers we were fantastic in this game. The Big Four had 5 turnovers, and the rest had 2. So we had 7 turnovers total. That's half of the league average, mind you. So that was fantastic. Great to see. Definitely stepped up in a big way when it comes to that. But moving on to the plus minus, for those of you who don't know, that's my dog Mobley. Darius Garland led the way. He was plus 22 in 37 minutes and 52 seconds. And in the last game against the Knicks, he was all the way at the very bottom of the plus minus. And I think most of that had to do with him not facilitating as much as he was in this game. Don and J.A. followed him up. Both of them were plus 21. With their fantastic nights. Donovan Mitchell played 39 minutes and 32 seconds. Jarrett Allen played 38 minutes and 25 seconds. Lamar Stevens has a new career high plus minus as a starter, at least as long as I've been making these videos. His previous high this season was a plus 4. His new high is now a plus 17 in 26 minutes and 23 seconds, and he definitely earned that. No one on our team covered Westbrook as well as Lamar Stevens did last night. And other than Jarrett Allen and Ev, who covered LeBron, Lamar was the best option to cover LeBron last night because LeVert and Okoro, no offense to them, they weren't really getting it done on that man. So moving on, Ev was plus 14 in 29 minutes and 46 seconds, and he definitely would have played more and definitely would have had a higher plus minus if the refs didn't keep calling these ticky-tack fouls on us. And Ev had 5 fouls in the game. So that's definitely tough. But here's where you're going to see how specifically the starting lineup carried us in this game, because the plus-minus really shows it. Like, we're going to go right into the guys who played 1 minute and 43 seconds. Raul and Mamadi Diakite, who had a block, were -1 in 1 minute and 43 seconds. And then you go to Jetty, who was -1 in 22 minutes and 51 seconds. He was definitely the best out of everyone who was coming off the bench. Okoro and LeVert were -4. Okoro in 9 minutes and 47 seconds. LeVert in 23 minutes and 11 seconds. And I need LeVert to be better moving off ball. I think it'll really help him and help us. If he's better moving off ball and shooting contested shots because he's not used to people closing out on him on catch and shoot shots. So he has to get used to that. And all the way at the bottom with the worst plus minus on the team was Kevin Love. Love was not in the air last night, unfortunately. He was minus 14 in 8 minutes and 47 seconds, and that doesn't really bother me. I don't think it's a really big deal. I think it's just his fractured thumb giving him some trouble. Once he gets that thumb cap off, he should be fine. Shooting splits for the night. We shot 51.6% from the field, which is great, 48 for 93 overall. From three, we did not shoot well at all. We shot 25.9% from three. We were 7 for 27. Not very good. Got to get that up. Donovan definitely carried us on the threes. He's 4 for 8. So the rest of the team was 3 for 19. Not good. Moving on. We keep the streak of shooting under 80% from the free throw line in our last 2 games. We shot 76.5% last night, 13 for 17. So overall, good win. Especially sweeping the Lakers is definitely great, Got that broom, sweep them off. But, we got to be ready for the Kings who are coming to town in a couple of days. Take the day off, rest a little bit, and I think that's it. So until next time, keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs. Hoo, hoo.